Halo 2, 20 years later. It's so shiny today we could almost forget how it used to look. Ugh, yuck. Let's just clarify. Halo 2 is Halo Combat Evolved, but more so, full stop. It controls the same, it sounds the same, it looks the same. And I'm not even saying that's a problem. That's what the people wanted, just so we're clear. So what is there to even talk about here? It is not today what it once was then, but Halo 2 used to be the topic of conversation, and I guess I can see why. With any real competition, though, where any single company could figure out how to polish the absolute basics instead of focusing on standing out, well,
tell that to the Covenant.
It's actually sad that this former juggernaut adds so little to the zeitgeist that, sales numbers be damned, it is only referenced by the mishandlings of 343 Industries, which was built from the ground up to shepherd the Halo franchise.
How would you live your life differently?
The original design team was Bungie, and they, with Microsoft money, knew how to build something hulking and then strip it down to perfectly fit into your greasy Dorito fingers. I'm not going to get into the Dorito-iest part of Halo 2, its multiplayer, because the Halo multiplayer combat arena is just a shiny toy. It might be an interesting psychological examination of the creation and nurturing of sociopathic behavior in children, but I'm here to talk about Halo 2's campaign. At this point, you need a refresher on what Halo 2 is really about, so I made a TLDR video that should get you up to speed. It's more fun to watch than you'd expect. It's 7.5 minutes, and I recommend it. Tell me about the Halo 2. Halo 2 has a story, contrasted by fluid, albeit repetitive combat. It has two main characters whose fates are intertwined. One is the Iron Fist of Man, logical, surgical, and unyielding. He is a Marine, a super soldier Spartan named Master Chief, who is brought out of stasis to fight the Covenant and to stop a super weapon Halo from firing. The other is an alien martyr, renamed the Arbiter, a zealot working on direct behalf of the upper leadership of the Covenant alien forces to shepherd the coming of the great journey provided by the holy Halo rings. Though fundamentally at odds, these two characters work in parallel to eventually stop the apocalyptic Halo system from activating and destroying life in the galaxy. The same Halo system that was designed to prevent the spread of a plague called the Flood, another kind of apocalyptic event that is actually never addressed. I've found it hard to care about any one of the singular dimensional characters this game presents on their own. The only character that I found of interest was the Covenant heretic, and you played a Covenant CIA operative who murders him. Was he an asshole? No, he wanted to survive. He knew the end of biological life in the universe was coming, and he didn't want to die. Put yourself in the heretic's shoes, living in a galaxy where everyone is actively trying to expedite the end of existence. The colloquial idiom applies. He was a man ahead of his time. By 3 hours. I know the core premise of the game is to keep the ring from turning, but it's more fun when it's a close call, when you're edging when it almost does, but you're just there, just in time to stop it, almost, but no. Double entendre implied. If I had my say, I'd let the ring turn, climax, have a beautiful death, move on. Not everything needs a mainline franchise. Look at the putrid cadaver of Star Wars. No amount of retcon, hypothesizing, or book writing has any effect on what this game exactly is. Halo 2, like Halo Combat Evolved, is a forward-facing game, issuing marching orders. What I mean by that is when you look side to side, there is nothing but edges of darkness. Behind you, there is guiltless fallout, the Marines, the aliens, the allies and enemies alike that you thoughtlessly leave in your wake proves unequivocally, every step of the way, that life is cheaper than dirt, while you're being told to save it. So you march to the drumbeat of a kind of wargame economy. The value backed in this economy is not in soldiers on the ground, ammunition expended, or the miles trekked over the corpses of your enemies. It is in the time of the player keeping their butt glued to their seat. Here's an example. The Halo 2 story never tells what the Arbiter is thinking as he's coming into consciousness after being betrayed by his Covenant, and is now being held pendulously close to the gaping maw of a world-consuming worm. This phallic fourth-wall-breaking horror is a physical representation of you, the person who's viewing this experience while holding up plot elements at will and making logically crude decisions on what to do with your toys. The Arbiter just stares at you. Like the action figure he is, no nuance, subterfuge, or even perceived irony. The only thing the Arbiter actually says in this scene, where he's metaphorically being stripped down to his base parts, are that he's busy, and a few select racial slurs.
Demon.
This tells you about zealotry. In a galaxy as big as ours, this covenant of many cultures and races has gotten so out of touch and self-concerned that the leaders are considered prophets. Ask Jeeves as an oracle. Any dissension or failure of duty is heretical. The leadership are literal dickheads in floating thrones. Races are renamed by status. This isn't comedic parody either. They are all ready and willing to die for their belief system. This may pose a real question. Is this what humanity looks like from a distance? An oligarchic world dividing humans into a class system, like a caste system, similarly bloated and so self-important that being a member of the upper echelon puts even the most inbred of morons into positions of control, where changes made from the top down are so laughably patronizing that they actually cause more damage than good, where everyone in society is too densely married to their primitive belief systems to see they are actually spiraling the drain of their own ultimate self-immolative destruction. Is this a dark, foreboding mirror showing us the crippling nature of unchecked societal hierarchy, warning us of blindly following unqualified fools into our own demise? No, it's Halo! Don't think too hard. Stay in your seat. Chief is holding 2 guns now. Bullets will spray. Look how fun it is to stick a grenade to an enemy and watch them panic before they die. Don't be afraid to loot guns off corpses. You'll need the extra munitions to keep up with all your friends playing on
Legendary difficulty.
So late right now. So late.
This isn't really that critical. It actually isn't any different than any other game. The thing that pushed all of this over the edge to the quote must-play status was that it was well polished and it came with the ability to play with all of your friends built in. I don't have anyone to play with anymore, but having 2-player split-screen campaign at the time was a big deal. Playing with network cables and the internet was a bigger deal. 20 years ago was an era where there just weren't many options on consoles. So it should almost go without saying that when you add another person, how you can simply sweep the membership of plot into the corner as long as the toys on center stage are shiny enough. And Halo 2's gameplay is very shiny. This puts us into a place of final consideration. Does Halo 2 stand on its own today without the benefit of scarcity of competition? Is this well-varnished experience from 20 years ago actually timeless? It does have a new coat of paint, and it's operating on new machines, but what do you think? I think if Halo Combat Evolved is vanilla ice cream, Halo 2 is French vanilla. The same, but more so. But, you know, I still don't like vanilla.